2, 3. Let's give Yutaka a hand.
Thank you.
Straight from Tokyo.
Yeah.
Konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa.
Here at beautiful Stony Brook, beautiful class. So bright and fresh on Monday. Let's talk. Let's talk about Yutaka, your childhood in Tokyo and your preparation for landing here last August in America. Had you been to America before?
No.
You hadn't?
Yeah.
But you learned English in school?
Yeah. Like since when I was 13, I've been studying English. But
Cool. Your English is good. And you seem to know a lot of idioms. Is there such a thing as a global way of growing up nowadays?
what do you mean? Could you
Like
explain?
you look at your classmates from a lot of them are like first generation Americans or they're same as you. They came who's foreign exchange student now? International. Who's international student? Anyone else? The rest are Peng Fei. The rest are Americans. Americans. They can do it. They can speak up. What was it like growing up in Tokyo?
Tokyo is really Tokyo is always crowded.
It's the largest city in the world.
Really?
Now.
I think New York is
No.
larger.
Tokyo. Oh, the metropolitan. They always debate because Seoul is always the second largest. And those you from Beijing? Shenzhen. A lot of those Chinese cities are just as big, and Mexico City is big, and all of that stuff. But Tokyo, last year it was Tokyo. You know, it might depending on where you put your suburbs. You grew up in suburban Tokyo, right?
Yeah.
What was that like?
It's kind of normal. It's not really really good to live in suburban.
It's not good.
Yeah, once you know how Tokyo is like, being in suburban is not exciting.
So one would say, and this is open for all of you, is there's a sense of the cosmopolitan, meaning the city is the cooler place. Did you get that feeling when you were a kid?
Yeah.
What would your friends do, like on a weekend? What was a typical young man doing in the Tokyo suburbs, like on a Saturday evening?
Saturday evening.
Yeah.
Like how old are they?
Well, you're right. 14. Is he going with your big sister to Harajuku to do the dances and things like that?
Some do and others don't. It really depends on.
That's Sunday afternoon, right? Harajuku is still big on Sunday, where everyone dresses up and they go to this area between Shinjuku and Shibuya. It's kind of still flat, or they're tall buildings there now?
Tall buildings.
Yeah, and then they meet in this large square, and they'll be dressed as anything, like gangsters or 50s or
50s,
anything.
50s. Yeah.
Not 50s anymore, or still 50s?
Yeah.
Punks and neo-punks and...
You cannot see so many people like that, I think.
Really?
No,
Did you ever do that?
no.
No?
No.
Why didn't you do that?
Because simply I was not interested in wearing that way.
The Harajuku look.
Yeah.
Cool. What would you do at 14, Saturday night?
Saturday night. I had a club. I was in a soccer club when I was 14.
Oh, so you played soccer?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I was always tired after the training. So I was watching TV on Saturday night.
Oh, and did you feel lonely at all? Do you have a brother or sister?
I have a sister, bigger sister.
Would your friends call up and say, hey, let's meet outside, let's go and hang out at the pizza parlor, the 7-Eleven? There are 7-Elevens in Tokyo.
Yeah.
Would you hang out and everyone in Long Island goes, ooh, 7-Elevens. Were there 7-Elevens in Tibet? Nepal? Tibet? No? Okay. There's 7-Elevens in Seoul, too. But it doesn't mean young people hang out at them. So you never felt lonely. Your friends were always a phone call away. Would they see you on Sunday?
Yes.
Would you head into the city on the train?
No, usually when they have a long vacation, they do, but because because they have to go back to school on Monday, so they
Oh.
they tend to stay.
That would tire them out, right?
Yeah.
Anyone, weigh in. Let's weigh in. Long Island, Queens, Brooklyn, upstate, Rockland County. Let's weigh in. What was, I could tell you what it was like in rural Minnesota, but you guys wouldn't, want to hear all of this. Weigh in. Anyone, Harvard moment. Jump in, head first. Anyone, come on. Were you bored? Were you lonely?
I don't really think most 14-year-olds are out in the city by themselves.
Yeah, 14's like a weird age.
Yeah, because I
don't do anything.
My parents, you were either at home.
Uh-oh, we heard someone with a...
So I could be by my friend's house, but that was like...
Did your parents make sure you got dropped off at your friend's house?
Oh, yeah.
They never said, oh, go just play in this street.
I had to have the who, the where, the when, the why, the how long you're going to be there, with whom, who's going to be there.
Every single like number of the
Exactly,
person there.
like-
Really?
And it was only...
What a challenge.
So
I need the house
dirty.
number where you're going to call me from the house number so I know it. I'd be like,
And it's
The
only
worst.
because they like knew my friends. Like I'd known them for 4 years. That was the only reason why I was able to go to their house. Other than that,
They had
my
the
friends
screen.
were-
Nowadays, do you appreciate they did that?
No.
No, why not, Winston?
Because like I understand that that they're parents and they're supposed to like have a hold on you, but you have to let us grow up as people. You have to let us interact. with
Were they
people.
punitive that they assume you're going to get into sex and drugs and rock and roll?
Well, not sex and drug. Well, not sex and alcohol, but
But
you
what?
know,
Like rock and roll?
Of course.
Loud music. Carol!
When I was 14, I was going to the city by myself. That's when I started going to the city.
And the parents said, like we're going to talk about Yutaka, what you said, the Cosmopolitan. Did you go to museums or where did you go?
I went to St. Mark's.
Oh my God, you're one of those.
No, and that and
Oh my God. And what was that? That was the late, early aughts, right? Aughts. It means 03, 04, 05. When was that?
Yeah.
The East Village was so over.
So 2006.
Yeah, that was like financier yuppies. And what did you see the Ramones there, or what? What did you see
No. I went to like local shows.
down there? And your parents let you.
Yeah.
14 is like 9th grade, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was getting into trouble when that's what I
Dudes,
did.
but you get this, both sexes, you get this jag of hormones, and it goes like, wow, you're like Jekyll and Hyde, right? You remember that? It's like, whoa, where'd these things come from? You just woke up one morning and it's like, they didn't tell me this, and then suddenly you're getting into trouble and your parents are like, what's wrong with you? You were so good last year, right?
Yeah.
Who said that?
That's what I got.
Nicole, how did it start? Was it like the Jekyll and Hyde thing? You just woke up in bed one morning and said, holy smokes, I got different marching orders.
No, I think I got into high school, and I had a lot of friends, and a lot of my guy friends were older, and I started drinking at a young age. I don't know,
Oh
it was just,
my God, we're coming out with something?
it was just accessible to me, so I just took advantage of it.
But you all knew, you're here at Stony Brook, a very studious school. You all know the golden means, right? Nothing in excess. Who was excessive? Who flirted with the abyss and then came back? Anyone? Oh, Nicole, come on. There's got
I'm just gonna be honest here.
Carol. I would say going in alone at 14 to St. Mark's is little bit flirting with the abyss. How late would you stay out at night?
I mean, I did have a curfew. I was.
But your mother was weeping on the kitchen table
I
like,
I would come home.
what? What? Boys, any boys flirted with the abyss? Anthony, no,
those were the good old days.
because Dad was right there with this, right? What?
Very awkward at 14. So I think once me and my friend went to the city, but there's only two of us. I really only had one friend at that point. So
From Connecticut, you jumped on Metro North, went into the city, or the friend had a car.
no, we were both 14.
Okay.
Yeah.
Metro
So,
North.
both went, just hang out and stay for the day. No, then sophomore year, but I started having more friends and started becoming an actual person. Then
That's what I mean. We talked about binaries and categories. The category between child and adult is this artificial category of teenager. Come on, people behind me. Tariq, weigh in. Were you ever recalcitrant? Were you bad? You were bad? You should have raised your hand. How bad were you, Tariq?
I was just always on the block.
You were always what?
Always on the block. Even at 13, 12.
What place? Where? Bronx. Who's from the Bronx? Cool. Who's from Brooklino? One, only two. No one. Who's from Queens? A lot of cool. Okay, you. Queens, the Abyss. Mom, Dad, you come back from the Abyss. Did it ever happen? But let's follow what Winston said. I want to be treated as an adult. They should have respect in their craft, the parenting craft, right? Say, son, a lot of you were latchkey kids, right? So, it's not like, hey man, hit the medicine cabinet, go through grandma's Quaaludes. It's like you weren't going to do that, right? So, was the Abyss even attractive? I think, okay, nod your heads, people. You gotta live. Tariq is honest. The Abyss is.
YOLO. It's still attractive.
Yeah.
Don't I know it? But old guy like me. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about society expects you to be like lockstep, bean counting, straight in line, whatever, Christina, and then suddenly you say, I'm not going to live, I'm not going to even know what the parameters of my young life are until I know the Abyss, right? Until you go, you fall off the Abyss, right? Name again. Sabrina.
Wow, like in DR, like their tradition, they're very like strict and stuff with their kids, and like they don't like their kids to like get ears.
Island people are, right?
But I got my ears pierced when I was like 12 or 13, and I was.
What did that mean to the family back in DR?
They didn't approve of it. They
Oh
didn't like
my
it.
God.
And when I was like 15, like I kind of like. Yeah, I have an older sister, so she's like 5 years older than me. So whatever she did,
She's
I
good.
wanted to do it too.
But she's a good girl.
But she was able. She had permission to walk. She's older, so I didn't understand why she could stay out and I couldn't. So I would just go out.
Oh my God. And then your mother was crying on the kitchen table like this every time.
I think it's all about like the changing of norms. Like if you look back to like the 1950s, you couldn't say pregnant on TV, and now we're at a
The
time.
7 swear words.
Yeah, like now we're at a time where you turn on the news and it's this one getting pregnant and this one doing drugs, and it's like our parents like they want to let us experience because they grew up in the 70s. But how could they let their children like go out when they sit home and they watch the news and all they see is like kids our age getting in trouble?
Yeah, there's fear mongering that way, but how many got in trouble online? How many of you got in trouble online? That what?
What kind of trouble? There's
I had some kids who were scamming, selling weird stuff on eBay. I had some kids, either scams or porn. Who got in trouble? Porn. Why? It's all out there, man. Stan, weigh in. So you guys, this is different. It's not like you guys are on the streets with your heaters, man. You're on online and you want to go there, right? You want to see what it is. What was it?
I used to like make this fake link, like me and my friend made this fake link that lead to like this nasty porn site. Like the screen would keep moving, so you can't really click it.
Until your mom checked your cookies, right? She checked your cookies?
Yeah.
And what was the lecture about?
She was like, oh my God. First she asked me who did this, and I said, I don't know. Why are you watching stuff like this? I'm like, it wasn't me. You gotta ask other people.
My friends. Whoa. So we have two realms. Is seeing it the same as, is seeing the dark side of the abyss same as doing the dark side of the abyss or falling off the abyss? Nick.
I think it introduces you to it, but it doesn't really, like it tempts you to go into the abyss, but it's not really bringing you there yet.
And would you rather have, gang, your parents, mom and dad, just sit you down and give you an adult conversation? It's like, yes, there's stuff like that out there. It's go knock your, like the Amish do. The Amish raise their kids very strict. You heard about this? In 1 year, they say, now get out of here. Now go. Go and drink, go and fornicate, go. For 1 year, they actually throw their kids.
That's not what they do.
Yeah, they do.
No, when you're 18, you get to choose if you like the lifestyle or not, and if you choose you don't, you're not allowed to talk to anyone ever again.
No. But I heard in order to choose it, you have to do it. What's called 1 year they give
But
you.
you're not allowed back once you leave.
I heard it's 1 day. Like it's 1 day, and then after that, yeah, you get to choose, and then.
1 year sounds good.
Yeah,
10 years sound good.
I think that parents should talk to their kids about this is what's up, this is what isn't, and because I don't agree with parents that are too strict because for
Usually
me,
the kids
that's
get.
just gonna tempt me even more to go do it.
Who rebelled in this class?
I did.
There. Now the hands come up. Because mom and dad love you too much and they were too strict. Gary, weigh in.
I was gonna say that I think everyone rebels at least one point in
You have to. You got to push the ball.
It's kind of like a saying that people want what they can't have. You say you can't have something. You're obviously
Mom or dad draws a line in the sand and you say, why is this line drawn here, man? I think it should be drawn.
You should be a little farther.
Yeah. And they say, oh, you don't respect me, do you? Yes, Lisa.
I think my parents did it different because I never had the urge to really rebel. Like my older sisters, they totally went off the deep end, flew past the cuckoo's nest, everything, and then came back.
Are they good girls now?
I guess, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Are they more knowledgeable now?
Yeah,
They live
that's
richer
the thing.
lives?
My older sister's 11 years older than me, and the next one's 6 years older. So I really learned from their experiences, and I think my parents did too, because they learned that when they're extremely strict, that's
The
what
kids,
they have.
it's like daring the kid. Who believes that? Who's going to have a kid and not be as strict? There, almost the whole room raises their hand. So, but you could see saying that being strict is just, even when it was going on with you, it's just a form of love, right?
Yeah.
Or was it compulsiveness on the part of your parents?
I think it's probably love because they want to. Maybe my parents, maybe they experienced it and they don't want me going through the same thing. I guess that might be it.
Who felt that, nowadays a kid is at least $500,000, right? To raise. Something like that. Who felt that you wanted to say to your parents, oh, come on, I'm just a commodity to you. I'm just like this thing that you'd be so upset if I goofed it up. And it's not really about me and my concerns, but it's about you and the way you seem to your neighbors or friends or family. Stan.
With regards to that, I do sometimes like that because like I've noticed like when I was younger I didn't really notice it. My mom used to tell me do this, do that. But as I got older, like I'm starting to drive now, and she wants me to really perfect it just so I could drive her places when I come down.
That
like,
mom.
And I told her I always wanted to be a lawyer when I was young, but I still want to do like other things, think about other things. And now all she keeps saying is law. So I guess it's like she is using me to like benefit herself in the long run. That's how I'm gonna say it.
It's natural. They love you, but they ... Yes.
I feel like I never rebelled, and it was because I had like disrespect for my parents. They weren't strict, but I had disrespect. Like I knew that if they told me be home at 2, I had to be home at 2 because if I wasn't, they would kind of take things away from me. And it wasn't them being strict; it was just the respect that I had for them. And like I lived in DR, and
Did you grow up there?
I lived there for like a year and a half. I go there a lot, but
Guess it's beautiful, right?
and when I lived there, I noticed that a lot of parents aren't really that strict. Like I would see a lot of kids go to their friend's house like freely, and it's because they just have a respect among the community. And
Oh, that's Jane Jacobs. She said that in the West Village. She wrote this great book called Death and Life of Great American Cities. She said in neighborhoods like the West Village, when it was old and Italian, the people were actually watching the kids of the other people. And that's gone. So your parents feel, how many feel that your parents felt lonely? That they were raising you guys alone? No one else? You all had a community behind you?
But isn't that what your family's for? Like I know, like I'm Jamaican, and I know my family. They say your best friend is your family. So if they didn't really believe in you having outside friends and the whole sleepovers, that wasn't for them. That's because you had your cousins. So even being that they came here, they all live in Queens. they all live in a 5-mile radius from each other, and they use that rather than using like an outside community. They stay within their family.
Yeah, I can see that. But this gets back to this concept of the global, right? Which is like, you know, I was raised obviously before the internet. My parents said, here's that museum, here's this museum, here's that. They try and give you the keys to being cosmopolitan. Did your parents do that and say, oh, go see the new media museum in Ark Mori building, go see this show, go? They did?
Yeah, yeah.
So they tried to open up a city for you in a way that you felt wasn't provincial, and it wasn't like treating you like. How many of you resented being treated like a kid at times? Mom, why can't I do that? Just because. Why just because? Just because I say. Why just because? Please give me an answer. Because I'm your mother. I got this role. I'm a chess piece on this chessboard. Christina.
Well, for me, I thought that I was overall a good child, and like I was pretty good in school, but my dad, he was all about you can always do better, but never took the interest into who I am as a person.
Ah.
And he would only take interest into what like how I am as a person when it looks good towards him. Like me coming to college or what college I go to, he didn't really put his opinion into it, even though he's a doctor. And
Christina, Harvard. Let's try for Harvard, right?
Yes. No.
He wouldn't do that?
He was just like, okay, just make sure. Like, he's all about money, and I'm just like, you're.
But I'm sure he loves you. Do you have issues with him now?
He's just there, okay?
Oh, that's.
So I just feel like when he knows that once I became a pre-med student, that's when he's like, oh my God, I was a pre-med.
Are you
student.
pre-med?
Yeah.
He must be proud, but you're worried he's proud for the wrong reasons,
Yeah.
right?
Like,
By osmosis, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like oh, here, look what I raised. You know. No, you're obviously y'all feel like you're more than commodities to your parents. It's tough when you don't have the village. Nicole, and then we'll finish up.
I grew up with my parents were divorced, so I always they were divorced since I was 1. So I felt like I was always in a battle with them because if I could get along with one parent, I would go to the other parent's house and the rules would be completely different. So it was always like trying to balance like how can one parent tell me one thing and then I go to my other house and the rules are completely different.
Right.
So it was just like a constant battle with my parents because like if I liked the rules that are at one house like at a certain age, oh you like that parent more or you love her more, and like it was.
You'd hijack the next house, right? You'd say, "Well, Mom said this,
right,
Dad."
Well, Dad said this. Well, Mom said, and like it would just cause conflict because it ended up getting them into a fight, and instead of them like setting like ground rules that they both agreed on because they couldn't get along, they could never like.
Well, maybe times are changing. It might be the norm where people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that always bothered me.
To be fair, at my dad's house was rich.
But that always bothered me so much when I always got $1 for each tooth, and then there would be kids at my school who got like $5 for each tooth.
20, 100.
And I'm just like, why is the tooth fairy love you more than it loves me?
Gosh. Well, let's thank Yutaka here. Let's give him a hand. See you on.